Welcome to the Positively Portugal Football Report for round 32. My name is Howie, and the biggest news that we have for you this week is that a new champion has been crowned. There are new kings of Portugal. Parabéns, Sporting Clube de Portugal. Wow, what a season. Dominating the Primeira Liga. Nearly going wire to wire in first place and putting on beautiful displays of football all throughout the season. It was such a joy to watch this team play. They're going to be a heavy favorite to win the Taça final in a couple of weeks. I think they're going to pull off that domestic double. The only thing that didn't go their way was the slip up in the Europa League against Atalanta, but that probably just gave them more of a chance to focus on winning that league, taking back what they hadn't won in 3 years, but before that they hadn't won it in 19 years. Then they won that title in 2021. And I think what this title for Sporting means is that, hey, you know what? It really is the big three. I know that it's been dominated by Benfica and Porto. That had become the main rivalry. Benfica having won the title 38 times, Porto 30, and up until 2021, Sporting was at 18, which is still a lot of championships, a lot of trophies, a lot of league titles to win. But the optics of it, you wanted to reach that 20, and now here they are with 20 titles. A lot of Sporting fans will tell you that it's 24 titles in actuality because of the Campeonato de Portugal, which ran from 1922 to 1938. Sporting won that 4 times. The Campeonato had a format similar to the Taça, so it wasn't a traditional league, but it was the only thing that they had. So I actually didn't know about this. I thought it was just they had won 20 titles for the league, 20 times champion of Portugal. I didn't really know about this Campeonato until I saw Sporting fans posting online that it's really 24. And I can see where they're coming from. We have something similar in the United States. Look at our football, American football, the NFL. I'm a fan of the New York Giants. They've won the Super Bowl 4 times, but they're champions 8 times. The Super Bowl has only been played for 58 or 59 years now, and the Giants had won 4 championships before there was a Super Bowl. The only difference was the format is pretty much what the NFL is today. So there's a little less confusion about that. But no matter what you want to call it, 20 championships, 24 of them. I mean, it was such a pleasure, an immense pleasure to watch Sporting play this season. It is so well deserved. Congratulations, Sporting, 1 million times over. And it got even better for them because Ruben Amorim announced that he's going to stay on as manager of Sporting. And after Liverpool signed the manager of Feyenoord, I kind of had the feeling that would happen. Amorim was also linked to West Ham, but, I don't care if West Ham is in the English Premier League. Going from Sporting to West Ham is a big step down. And I'll tell you why. Nothing's going to save West Ham. Nothing is going to keep them competing with the Manchester Cities and Liverpools and Arsenals of the world. They're eventually going to run out of gas because they never had the money to compete with the other clubs. The chances that you'll ever see a Leicester City again are slim to none. And people really have to stop talking about Leicester City in that way because, let's face it, Leicester City actually had stars on that team. They had Jamie Vardy, Riyad Mahrez in his prime. They had N'Golo Kante in his prime. And, West Ham's not going to compete. What would have happened to Ruben Amorim maybe they would have won 7 out of their first 10 games, and then they would fall off, and then they would, stink to high hell the next season. Amorim would have been fired after a year and a half, and then at that point, someone else is managing Sporting. I mean, where is he going to go? So I think Ruben Amorim, he's only 39 years old. He has one of the most brilliant minds in the whole sport. He is going to become a legend. I have no doubt about that. This is now his second title with Sporting, and he'll just end up staying until the right opportunity comes along, whomever that might be. But it tells you how smart that he is to not jump to West Ham. It was, I think that's a brilliant move by a brilliant mind. And now with Amorim staying, he's obviously not going to be taking any of his players anywhere else. And the biggest question that Sporting is going to have going into next season, can they hold on to Viktor Gyökeres? And as we talked about before, Gyökeres has publicly professed his love for the club, his love for the city of Lisbon. And although I think he'll end up getting sold for big money, I'm not going to be surprised if Gyökeres stays. And the reason why is, look, he's never had any season like this in his career. And he was playing in places where he could have dominated like that, like Coventry, for example. And I think when Coventry was there, I'm not sure if they were a second or even a third division team in England. But it's not like Gyökeres has ever done anything close to this before. So maybe Sporting does retain him. And maybe everything that we talked about, how Benfica was poised to take back control of the Premier League and dominate for years to come, well, maybe that plan is put on hold a little bit. If Sporting stays together, there's no reason to think that they can't do this again. Obviously, Benfica will bring in some reinforcements. They're not gonna come to the table with the same team that they had this season. I also think the future is very bright for Braga. I love that Daniel Sousa from Arouca is taking over for them. There's going to be some stability there, and Sousa has proved he can win with a small budget, and Braga's budget is going to be bigger than Arouca's. If their ownership ever puts money into that team, then they're right there to compete with the big three and possibly win the title one of these years. But for now, we have other games to talk about. Moreirense 1-0 over Vizela. The worst sixth-place team in Portuguese football history has now won 2 in a row. Boa Vista and Gil Vicente with a 1-1 draw. Rio Ave 2-1 over Vitória. And that's just unbelievable to me. Vitória was fighting for a place in Europe. And now, with 2 games left, any combination of 1 point gained by Braga or 1 point lost by Vitória means they will not see any European football. It's just unbelievable. Sporting, they won 3-0 over Portimonense. No surprise there. Everything that happened, I think everybody thought would happen. Porto, 3-0 over Chaves. Firenze, 3-2 over Estoril. Firenze catching fire as the season comes to a close. They're up to 9th place now. Braga, 4-3 over Casapia. Arouca and Estrela played to a scoreless draw. A bit of a disappointing result for Arouca. That game was at home. And Famalicão with the upset of, well, more than the week. Probably the month or, hey, maybe even the season. 2-0 over Benfica. Now, when Sporting beat Portimonense Saturday, they still had not clinched the title. It became another one of those situations where 1 point gained by them or 1 point lost by Benfica would clinch the title after that. But, looking at the schedule that they have left, that Sporting was not going to blow out. They just weren't going to blow it at all. So I guess Benfica kind of saw the writing on the wall, and that was it for them. So looking ahead at the table now, obviously Sporting clinched. Benfica has clinched 2nd place. Porto is 1 point ahead of Braga for third. Vitória is 5 points behind Braga for fourth. Looking at the bottom of the table, Vizela and Chaves still cemented in the relegation zone. However, neither of them have been relegated. Who would have thunk it? Portimonense, they are still in the relegation playoff, and they lost another point against Estoril. So Estoril 2 points ahead in that battle for safety. There are only 2 matches left. And, we're going to be here to cover rounds 33 and 34, obviously. But again, want to say one more time, congratulations, Sporting. Parabéns, Sporting Clube de Portugal. What a great, unforgettable season it was. So if you like hearing about Portuguese football or the process of moving to Portugal, please hit that subscribe button. It's free to subscribe to a YouTube channel. It is the #1 way to help a YouTube content creator. I want to thank you all for watching, and we will be back here next week for round 33. Take care, everyone. Well, in all of the excitement, I forgot to announce the team of the week and the biggest loser. This time around, these are going to be shared honors. The team of the week is a 3-way tie between Sporting for winning the league. Famalicão will share that with them, as will Rio Ave. Both Famalicão and Rio Ave with 2 gigantic upsets over Vitória and Benfica, who are sharing the dishonor of being this week's biggest loser. So once again, thank you for watching. This time I mean it. I'm out of here. Take care, everyone.